Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. How's it going, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my advanced look at the Proof Compendium from Image Comics. So, let's take a look at this book together. And welcome back, everybody. So before going any further, a big thank you to Image Comics for sending us a copy of this compendium. Now, the release date of this is a little conflicting because some sites are saying it's going to be late July, and then some have stated that it's pushed back until August 12th. So just to play it safe, I'm just going to say this is coming out on August 12th. If you have it already, probably depending on your comic book store or where you order comics, awesome. That's great. You got an advanced copy. All right, Proof by Grecian and Riley Rossmo. Proof Compendium Volume 1. I thought this was just a compendium. I didn't know there was more to the story, or is there more? Image logo, Proof Compendium Volume 1, Grecian and Riley Rossmo. And then the back of the book, if you believe in monsters, you need proof. That's right. And it is a science fiction horror. Retail price $49.99, rated M for mature, what's collected down there. And this is a compendium, meaning it's a soft cover, much like the other compendiums, and does have glued binding. But we'll look at the binding a little bit later. Let's go ahead and open this up and talk about what type of story is exactly in here and who are all these zany looking characters. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. I love the fact that they have like these newspaper articles for what I assume is still the end sheet, even though it's a soft cover. Here is your title page. Proof Compendium 1, and there's our main character right there, John Proofrock. Grecian is the script and letter. Riley Rossmo is the art and colors, with additional colors by people like Tyler Jenkins and Kelly Tyndall. And then your Chapter 5 artists, so there's different artists that help do Chapter 5, like Dave Casey and Paul Frick. And then short story artists, because these short stories are collected in here too. So this contains Proof 1 through 28 and Proof Endangered 1 through 5. The book has 800 pages and retails for $49.99. So we kick it off with this prologue where this old man and his dog are going through this cave and they run into something, and this something horrible just ends up taking him, and we don't know exactly where. And then we fast forward a little bit to last Thursday. So last Thursday, we see, I love the fact that they have these little pop-ups of cryptoids. We see this Bigfoot that has underwear for some reason, covering himself, and he's being chased down. He's being hunted, and these little cryptoid pop-up, like, I don't know why I always think of like VH1 pop-up video, showing my age, but that's the sound that I hear whenever I see these. It's telling you more and more about these cryptids, and what their capability is, how fast they are, what we know about these characters. Well, as it turns out, he wasn't really being hunted down, but it was a game of paintball. So those aren't bullets, those are actual paintballs. And then we get into this interlude where we meet our other main character, and that is Ginger Brown. Ginger Brown is a young FBI agent, and she saw something that she probably shouldn't have seen. This giant golem, when she was in a case in New York City, knocks her out, and the next thing she knows, she's waking up, and she is being invited to join the Lodge. And as we find out, the Lodge is this organization between the American government and the Canadian government that uses cryptoids as, like, think of like X-Files, think of Hellboy. Actually, think of Hellboy, things like that. Or Department of Truth. And they're trying to capture all these mythical creatures, all these monsters, to let them come and live in the safe haven of the lodge. And that's what this organization is. So the very first case, Ginger ends up teaming up with John Prufrock. Everybody calls him Proof, who is a Bigfoot, who ends up working for the lodge. And the lodge, even though it's located in Washington, it goes all over the world. So the first storyline is about the goat sucker. It's about the chupacabra. And as he has explained, the chupacabra could be a Mexican Bigfoot. So that intrigues him because there is something with John that, or Proof, sorry, we'll just call him Proof from now on. Something that you immediately find out is that he doesn't remember a lot of his past. He doesn't know who he is. We know that he's about 200 years old, but he just doesn't know anything about his people. So when he heard Mexican Bigfoot, he was intrigued. He was like, well, maybe this goat sucker, maybe this chupacabra is related to my people that I know nothing about. So he takes on the case with Ginger, and they end up going to Minnesota. Now in Minnesota, and I'm just going to talk about the first case mainly because you are introduced to a lot of the different creatures throughout the book in the first story arc, because I want you to be surprised, but also get the tone of the book. So when they go to Minnesota, there are some horrific things that happen that you find out. You know, fairies aren't as friendly as you think they are. You start seeing some flashbacks from Proof's point of view and his connection to the character of Wayne Russet. And also, what is his name? Leander White, who is the manager of the lodge. But the more you learn about his connection to Wayne Russet, the more you find out that, oh, they're kind of like best friends. And that's the kind of character that Proof is. He does have a sense of humor, but also has like this stoic side to him because he feels like he's the last of his kind. And we don't know if there's other Bigfoot out there. Well, maybe you will find out by the time you get through the book. But anyway, back to the case. The case is about the goat sucker. And as it turns out, this particular chupacabra, what it does is it rips the skins off of people. So it skins humans and then wears their skins as a disguise. Now, eventually, the chupacabra will be taking over one character named Nadine. And that's what the chupacabra will be stuck at when it gets saved by both Proof and Ginger. There is another character that we're introduced through in this storyline, and that is the character of Elvis Aaron Chestnut, who is the small town sheriff, but in the first story arc, he decided to end up joining the lodge because of his help through the first mission. But that's the kind of stories you're going to find in here. So yes, if you're familiar with the world of Hellboy, it's very similar to that, but focusing more on like jackalopes, little gnomes, and brownies, and oh my gosh, the passenger pigeons, and even some twists and turns, like the things that you thought you knew about these mythical creatures. But there's Joe, for example, who's the golem that lives in New York City, and he is the defender of the Jewish population there. And there are backup stories that tell more a little bit about these characters. The third story arc actually features somebody you may be familiar with, which I did not expect, and that is the Savage Dragon. The Savage Dragon actually teams up with Proof in this particular story arc. But the story arc that I really enjoy is the Julia storyline. That is all set in the past, and you get to find out more about Proof's past. And this character that has been kind of shaping everything from the very first story arc. There's a character named Mi Chen Po who, for example, told Nadine, the chupacabra, to go to Minnesota because chupacabras are known to be in the South, but for some reason he told her to go up north and try to find Gulliver. And it has ties to Proof because he used to be in the circus and he was known as Gulliver. But how could she know that? Who the hell is Mi Chen Po? Well, the fourth storyline, the one that's called Julia, that arc, oh my gosh, it dives deep into the past. It's heartbreaking. I think it's beautiful. And to me, this is really the heart of the story. I like how funny it is and quirky it is, and I love the art. But I think what really hooked me was that fourth storyline that features this character known as Julia. And when you find out who Julia is, oh man. All the backup stories, again, are collected in here. The covers are all intact in between chapters, so they're used as like chapter breaks, like so. And then you get to the final arc in here. And the final arc is the endangered, what is it called? The endangered, I think it's just what it's called. And that's actually more of a... it takes them to Japan. As a matter of fact, it's in Tokyo, Japan. This last storyline, without going too much into spoilers, it's a little confusing at first because there are characters, you feel like you're missing something because there are characters that died earlier on that come back, and then characters that were alive early that are dead through it. But so it's like a time travel kind of thing going on. But I promise by the time you get to the last part of the book, or the last part of that 5-issue miniseries, it is all explained. But this is the type of art, well, majority of the artwork looks like this, but it is the type of stories collected in here, not taking itself too seriously like the Department of Truth, but having a lot more fun like something like Hellboy. This is the only extra that you have, and again, glued binding, and printed in this, I love this homage to MJ right there, printed in this like satin type of paper stock. Not like super glossy or high gloss. But that is it. That is what Proof is. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this compendium. In the comments down below, let me know if you are picking this up, if you have the trade paperbacks, if you got the single issues, what you thought of the series, and again, if you are going into it completely blind. Let me know all those comments down below. Smash that like button on the way out. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.